Welcome once again here to outside the Y Camp Athletic Center here near the Gates Gymnasium on Paul Condrey. Glad that you can join us here. I'm the president and founder of Regional Radio Sports. Great to be joining you here from Bethel University Men's Basketball Media Day. To my left, Luke McBride and Preston Phillips, respectively. Great to have these two veterans coming back this year for the Pilots. So let's just get right to it, guys. Preston, I know for you, you grew up here locally. I had a chance to see you play in high school over at Jimtown High School. I know you look much better in a blue uniform than you did when you were down at Evansville. I can honestly tell you that with great sincerity. But what's your take on being a part of the Bethel University men's basketball family?
Yeah, I love it, man. Being a local guy, it's good to see obviously the family and friends a lot more often. But Matt Schaus, I know we're probably going to talk about him here.
Sure.
But All-American here at Bethel, he was a big influencer on me coming back here, especially after the transfer portal. So. Yeah, man. I didn't realize how deep Bethel ran until coming back home and seeing it for myself and playing in Bethel Blue. So yeah.
Give us an idea as you look back on the decision to initially go away to college and taking literally the longest trip possible if you're going to be playing college basketball from one end of the state to the other. You're talking about Evansville, but talk about some of the things you learned from being away from the close-knit family that you like.
Yeah. So COVID was my senior year of high school in 2020. So I took a post-grad year before I went to Evansville and matured a lot. We played a lot of JUCOs and matured a lot physically more than anything. And, yeah, man, you don't realize how long of a state Indiana really is until you're driving 5 hours from the north part to the south part. And, people start talking with southern accents down there and stuff. But, yeah, it was definitely a change of scenery, a culture shock for me, I'd say. But I feel like I adapted pretty well as a person off the court. But, yeah, on the court, definitely wasn't used to not having family around and stuff. So that was a big change for me. So, yeah.
12 points, 8 rebounds a year ago. You got in about 29 minutes a game. Those were some generalities in regards to numbers. You think you can get more, number one, points, rebounds, as well as do you want to play more?
I hope I can get more. That's kind of the goal here. Drew Lutz, Nathan Eritz, they're great players. We're gonna miss them for sure, but we got to step up as a unit. Drew's an All-American, great player. Lefty, I'm a lefty, so I love seeing a lefty play. But yeah, we're gonna have to, as a team, collectively step in and take on some bigger roles. So yeah, we're all gonna have to do it.
Luke, I know for you, it had to be a blessing in many ways to be able to watch a guy like Drew Lutz and play behind him, play in practice. He made you a better player by having to guard him and watching his competitive nature and the way he went about his work. What was it like having Mr. Lutz as a teammate?
Yeah, it was definitely a blessing just because each day I could learn from him, see some things he did, and also just the way he carried himself as like a leader and as a player. Also challenging at times. You mentioned having to guard him almost every day in practice, and he scored on me his fair share. I competed with him well, I thought, and it just made me a better player overall. So I'm grateful for that opportunity I had with him last year.
Looking at last year, about 15 minutes a game. I'm sure that's probably going to double now that you've moved up in the pecking order. Give us an idea from your vantage point, knowing that you're going to have to play, instead of 15 minutes a game, maybe 25 minutes and maybe even 30 to 35 minutes. So what did you do different during the offseason to get yourself from a cardiovascular standpoint as well as to be able to shoot like you do in some marquee situations this year?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, minutes, having to adjust to that. This offseason, tried to work on conditioning a lot. I feel like I came in good shape, so that's helpful. And then just being able to shoot and engage your legs when you're tired, especially when you have to play long periods of time. It's a fast-paced game, and still being able to knock down open looks and be ready to shoot is the most important thing. So I think just having confidence in my shot and my abilities, and then also just keeping that conditioning level where it needs to be is going to play a big part.
Well, let's talk about your guys' high school experience. Preston, obviously, I was blessed to have a courtside seat to be able to watch Matt Schaus play. He was one of the, in my personal opinion, one of the top 10 greatest pilots that I've ever seen. I've known him since he was in 11th grade in high school when he was a quarterback at Centerville High School. Just a absolute winner. Luke, conversely, you had a chance to play for your dad, another winner, a guy who's played here, part of the championship lineage that is Bethel University. You also had a chance to spend time with him as his top guy on his team. So, Preston, let me start with you, talking about the importance of having a great high school coach and how they prepared you for the next level.
Yeah, I'd say that, like I said, Coach Schaus, he really did help me, like, make me into the man that I am today. Even just little things like morals and values. I was kind of, a little, not rebellious, but I definitely got on his nerves a lot. He got on my nerves a lot. So he was a young coach. I was a young guy. Kind of didn't know that I was, going to obviously be playing collegiate basketball, and we kind of grew together. And I think that was really good for me, and I felt like it was really good for him too. So, yeah, he really showed me a lot what it means to be a man and how to not just live life through basketball. So that was really important for me as a high schooler.
All right, Mr. McBride. What about the elder Mr. McBride?
Yeah, I really enjoyed having him as a coach. Just super knowledgeable about the game, so that helped me in just my development and all that. The main thing I think that helped me coming into college was how he taught me how to compete. Like, he was always on me about, giving effort every day in practice, even if, things aren't going well. How are you going to respond when adversity hits or when you're not making shots? Am I going to be able to tell how you're shooting when I walk in the gym? Are you going to be down on yourself or are you going to be super up, just kind of staying steady? So I really appreciate that from him.
Talk about guys playing in the Crossroads League, how difficult this league is, game in and game out. From the last place team to the top team, you could be taking on, a tremendously talented group each and every night out. Luke, let me start with you on this question. What's it like? Did you think the Crossroads League was going to be as difficult now that you've gone through it?
I definitely thought it was going to be tough. I think last year I kind of, got to see that like full scale. It was definitely a little harder than I kind of expected, which I think is most case for, new people to the league. They don't realize how much of a gauntlet it really is. Each and every game is a battle. But yeah, I think we have a lot of experienced guys on this team, guys that have most of our guys played in the league last year, and I think we have competitors, as does every other team. So I think just bringing that experience and that value back this year is going to just help us as we get into conference season. So.
Preston, from your standpoint, you had a chance to play Division I basketball, and you probably thought to yourself, well, I'm going to go into that Crossroads League, and I'm going to make a name for myself. And you realize the league is pretty good, isn't it?
It is, man. It really is. Coming from the Missouri Valley Conference, almost kind of like the Crossroads, where it's just like grind, night in, night out, and that's just really physical. It takes a toll on the body, but at the end of the day, man, any team can beat you. So you gotta really bring your A game to every game and treat everything like it's a battle every night, man.
Okay, so Luke, let's start with you on this one. That's a completely different lineup and roster that we'll see, I'm sure, this coming year. As you look at the landscape of your roster and where everybody's going to move around, you talked about the graduation of Lutz and Nairds, and we can just go on from there. But what's the perception in camp thus far?
Yeah, I think one of the main things I've noticed just early on is that we've got a lot of guys that can contribute, each in their own way, respectively. We've returned, I think, 10 guys from last year's team, which is a pretty good amount. But I think all guys have developed over the offseason and become better players, and they're going to be able to contribute a lot more. And then I think just bringing in new guys, obviously we got 4 new guys coming in, and they've all been able to work as hard in practice and just contribute in that way. So I really think that we're coming together, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going as we start to get into the season here.
Preston, what's your take on the roster?
Yeah, obviously we lose Drew and Nate, 2 big key players, but looking at our roster, we don't have a Drew Lutz, and that's just truth be told, we just don't have that All-American guy right now, and that on paper doesn't look too good, but watching our practices and seeing our ball movement and people like Luke right here to my right stepping up, man, like it's gonna be a very fun team to watch. If you guys like the Indiana basketball style that I like to watch, you know what I mean, team basketball, we're gonna have probably 5 to 6 guys average probably like 8 to 9 points a game, man. It's gonna be really fun to watch, and I can't wait for the season to start. So yeah.
Talk about Coach Draven and the coaching staff. Obviously, some new guys on the coaching staff, but Steve was. I was blessed to be able to watch Steve and did some of his games when he was growing up at LaPorte, and been a tremendously talented player, and was totally committed to doing the right things for the right reasons here. Can you speak, Luke, on what Coach Draven is all about, as well as some of the new guys? You got Michael Shoemaker, a new guy, a couple new GAs also in the program. Can you speak about the coaching staff?
I really think that they're really pushing us to start the season, obviously, with practice starting and stuff. But I think they don't get caught up in like one bad play or one bad day of practice. They're more focused on just the overall process, which is one of our core values. Just growing together as a team, over time. Like the end goal is not whatever scrimmage we have coming up next week. It's we got a whole long season ahead of us. It's a marathon, and they've just been doing a good job of kind of like keeping our heads focused on that. Trust the process and just kind of get better each day.
Preston, your take on the coaching staff?
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off of Luke here. Draven really talks about trusting the process, and I think that the coaching staff really helps us go in, compete, every single day, and just see how one bad day doesn't translate to another bad day. You know what I mean? So you want to keep your head up, keep grinding, and we have a lot of good pieces with our coaching staff.
All right, I'm going to give you both an open-ended question. Preston, first for you, and this will be our final question. Defensively, what do the Pilots have to do this season to be successful?
Yeah, we took a step defensively in the right direction last year, and we want to take an even bigger step. Defensively, we have to be really physical. We can't allow middle drives, and we talk about it all the time. No middle hard help. No middle hard help. That's all we do. We embed that in our brains, and we're miles ahead defensively than we were last year at this point in time. And it takes guys like Jameer Jefferson, Trent Edwards. You know what I mean? Those guys that are just dogs, man, just pests on the court. And then we'll also have a lot of size with Al Petulis, myself, James Anderson, Ike Ume. We're gonna have some size at the rim, on the wings, and the perimeters. So we're going to be a really lengthy team, and if we can use our physicality to keep people out of the paint, we're going to be a really, really tough team defensively. So.
Okay, Luke, let's talk about the offense. Now, once again, the question is, offensively, what do the Pilots have to do to be successful offensively?
I think, we just got to trust each other. Preston mentioned it earlier. Like, we have a lot of guys that can score. A lot of guys are going to contribute this year. So I think, ball movement is key. Keeping the defense off balance and really working to get paint touches. Our points per possession is way up when we have ball swings and paint touches in possessions. So I think that's a key for our team. And then taking advantage of transition opportunities and also easy baskets. Like, we need to, pound the ball inside when it's there and convert off of that. Just take as many easy opportunities as we can get, because it's hard to score, especially against good squared up defenses. So, getting out and running, transition is going to be huge for us too.
Once again, Preston Phillips, Luke McBride, guys, thanks for taking time to join us here on Media Day. Best of luck to the Pilots.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
We're going to be back with more of Bethel University Men's Basketball Media Day here just outside the Gates Gymnasium and, of course, the Y Camp Athletic Center. I'm Paul Condry. Thanks for joining us on Regional Radio Sports.